Mr. President, you said that your national security advisor learned a lesson after a reporter...
Wait a minute, excuse me, I didn't pick you. Go ahead, please.
It just never gets old. I can never get enough of watching the public humiliation of Kaitlan Collins. Katie, woo! Katie, woo! Now, that clip was from Tuesday during a press conference with the Trumper. Donnie was taking questions from the media, and the Roo, she thought it was her turn to speak. Unfortunately, though, for Katie Roo, she thought wrong. As soon as the Trumper matched the insufferable voice with the uncharismatic face, he immediately shut the Roo down. Oh, Mr. President, I have a question. Who in the Rudy Poo are you? It's me, Katie Roo. It doesn't matter what your name is. You know, I am almost convinced at this point that Kaitlan Collins is addicted to public humiliation. I am almost convinced that the Roo intentionally puts herself in situations where she is going to be embarrassed. Now, to her credit, it's not exactly the worst marketing strategy for Kaitlan Collins. I mean, think about it. If you believe my theory, the Roo is at serious risk of losing her time slot to the American hero Scott Jennings. I am a real American. Her primetime dump is floundering. Her show is barely clinging to life support. Executives at CNN, they have tried to make Roo the face of the network. Remember last fall when Kaitlan Collins was appearing on all those late night talk shows? She was pretending to laugh at Jim Fallon's jokes. She was rubbing elbows with Bill Maher. She was sharing previously used Kleenex with Jim Kimmel as they cried over their devastating symptoms of stage 4 OMB. Orange Man bad! Roo had her face on billboards in New York City. I thought it was a brilliant strategy by CNN. Put the beautiful face of Roo on billboards in boroughs with high populations of lonely men. Join us at 9 p.m. on CNN as we spank the wanker while watching Roo on mute. CNN has given Kaitlan Collins premier roles like hosting town halls with the Trumper. CNN has done everything in their power to make Kaitlan Collins the face of the network. Yet for some reason, the end result remains the same. Huge, embarrassing failure. So, how else can they generate interest? What other strategies can they use to convince lonely dudes to watch Kaitlan Collins? You can't rely on her charisma. It doesn't exist. Can't promote her likability. Roo is about as popular as a naked woman inside of Club Shay Shay. So what can CNN do to generate interest? Maybe they have finally decided to utilize Roo's strengths. Maybe CNN has finally decided to unleash the Roo. Lately, Kaitlan Collins has been on this humiliation tour. A couple of weeks ago, she was embarrassed by Caroline Leavitt. Sweet Caroline, Roo, 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 embarrassment never felt so good. Roo was embarrassed by Caroline Leavitt at a press conference. As usual, Kaitlan Collins was asking doofus questions. Instead of playing games with her, Caroline Leavitt, she told Kaitlan Collins how to properly do her job. Tuesday, she was embarrassed by the Trumper. As you saw in the clip, Roo tried to trick the Trumper by bringing her own talking pillow to the press conference. Once Donnie recognized Roo, he asked security how she got into the building. "We are sorry, Mr. President, we didn't recognize her." Roo used her power of anonymity to sneak into the press conference. Then last night, the humiliation tour continued on Roo's primetime dump as Kaitlan Collins was verbally dominated by Doug Collins. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Sugar Mountain Trading. Are you struggling with back problems? Do you deal with minor aches and pains throughout your day and you don't want to go to the doctor because all the doctor's going to do is find something else wrong with you? Or even worse, prescribe addictive medication that you just don't want to take? Me personally, I hate going to the doctor. So does my wife, who actually deals with back pain, which is why she started using CBD lotions and oils from Sugar Mountain Trading. Now, this is not THC. It's not going to make you fail a drug test. These CBD lotions and oils, they are designed for rapid pain relief. My wife, like I said, deals with nagging back pain from time to time. Tried over-the-counter stuff. We have tried the chiropractor. Nothing ever seemed to work. Within 5 minutes of me applying CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain Trading, her pain was gone. It is damn near magical. Sugar Mountain Trading also offers CBD bar soap that will keep you pain-free and smelling fresh at the same time. Bar soap comes in a variety of scents ranging from lavender to cherry almond. All CBD products offered at Sugar Mountain Trading, 100% natural, 100% free of THC. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL20, BTL20. Save 20% off your first purchase with Sugar Mountain Trading. Last night, Kaitlan Collins had Doug Collins on her primetime dump. Well, Uncle KC, why in the hell is Kaitlan Collins talking to a former NBA coach? Initially, I thought she might be talking to her uncle. I can understand why you would think Rue was so incompetent that she would interview a former NBA head coach. But last night, she was interviewing the Doug Collins, who is the Secretary of Veteran Affairs. Now, in fairness to Rue, I understand why she booked this interview, and I can also understand her initial line of questioning. With Joan Goldberg from The Atlantic revealing the signal leak on Monday and exploiting that mistake for his own personal gain, I understand why Kaitlan Collins would invite Doug Collins on her show to get his thoughts on the situation. I mean, this is her job, right? Kaitlan Collins is the face of a fledgling network. One of her primary responsibilities at CNN is spreading propaganda. This military leak, it was a gift. It was a turd that needed no polish. But sometimes you have got to be able to read the room. Sometimes you have to be able to read body language. You have to understand tone of voice. Sometimes you got to realize that your question has been asked and answered, and it's time to move on. You may not have gotten the answer that you wanted. You might not have gotten an answer, period, but it doesn't change the fact that you got to read the room. Unfortunately for Kaitlan Collins, charisma is not the only thing that she lacks. She also lacks the ability to read the room, which is why Doug Collins damn near lost his temper last night and humiliated the Rue on her own show. Watch for yourself.
All right. Well, Kaitlan, since you undoubtedly do not want to talk about the VA, I have a question as VA Secretary. As Cabinet, I want to ask you, because I've been curious about this, because my job is to take care of veterans, and I would like to know why CNN is hostile to veterans, especially one in Florida, where you just had a $5 million defamation suit taking offense at a veteran who was trying to help people. In fact, one of your employees actually said, we're going to nail him. I have a question for you, Kaitlan. Is that employee still employed? I'd like to hear from CNN as the Veteran Cabinet Secretary why CNN seems to have a problem with veterans.
My question was about whether or not you as a member of the cabinet use this, and respectfully, I'm conducting the investigation, and I do have a lot of questions for you on Veterans Affairs.
And it does me no good to speculate on something that I've already asked and answered. So I've asked and answered your question. Why don't you answer mine? Are you still, is this person still employed who said they were going to nail one of my veterans?
Respectfully, sir, I'm asking the questions here, and I have no involvement in what you're referencing there.
Clearly, the Rue was not listening on Tuesday. Clearly, the humiliation she received from the Trumper wasn't enough. Mr. Secretary, my question was about, it doesn't matter what your question is. God. The lawsuit that Uncle Doug Collins was referring to, it was settled back in January. CNN was ordered to pay $5 million to a security contractor who sued the network, I think it was for defamation. CNN was claiming that he was overcharging people to remove them from Afghanistan in the summer of 2021. You know, since Johnny B. Biden just left them over there to fend for themselves. But Kaitlan Collins, she didn't want to talk about that. She wanted to gloss over that subject. The Roo was far more interested in sensationalizing the signal leak. Look, the signal leak was a monumental mistake. There's no doubt about it. If the same thing happened with Johnny B. Biden, conservative media would be all over the story, myself included. We would be doing some of the same things that the woke media is doing right now. But there is a huge difference between the Trumper and Johnny B. Biden. I am confident that the Trumper will solve the problem. I am confident that the Trumper will ensure that this never happens again. With John Biden, I'm not confident that John Biden even knows what signal is. Is that the thing Jill gives me when she tells me to stop touching her arm? I also think it's ironic that the mainstream media is suddenly worried about our national security. They were not concerned about national security when John Biden was spreading the cheeks of the southern border and bruising the caboose. They weren't concerned about national security when they were chanting, "Free Palestine!" They weren't concerned about national security when they were lying about the cognitive decline of John Biden. They were not concerned about national security when they pressured Johnny B. to exchange Victor Boot for Bob Greiner. They exchanged a convicted arms dealer who was selling guns that were used against American soldiers. They begged John Biden to let him go so Vlad Putin would give us back Bob Greiner. It was the equivalent of exchanging a Rolls Royce for a Dodge Dart. But all of a sudden, some doofus reporter from The Atlantic was included in high-level discussions, and the media expects us to believe that they're now concerned about national security. I don't know about you guys, but I ain't buying it. You know, Kaitlan Collins is a talented reporter. I know I give her a hard time. I know I laugh at her embarrassing moments in the White House, but the Roo does a good job as a White House correspondent. But when it comes to hosting a show in primetime cable news, the Roo is poo. Give me your thoughts on this. Kaitlan Collins gets embarrassed for the second time in 2 days. Brutal week for the Roo. Seems like the only way that the Roo can generate interest is to embarrass herself. Is Roo running out of time in prime time? Is she at risk of being replaced by Abby Phillip and Scott Jennings? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.